Today we're making over-the-top chili. This stuff is so good, you won't even believe it. Right before you eat, this is what it looks like. You're smoking chili, and you're smoking the beef right on top of the chili. The beef drips down into the chili as it smokes, and it's just unbelievably good. Highly recommend this to anybody who wants to level up their chili game. I'm going to start by saying that I do put lots of beans in my chili and corn. So if that bothers you, this may not be the recipe for you. I always try to make it a little healthier, and honestly, I put tons of beans in mine. I think it tastes good. What I'm going to start with here is a screaming hot Dutch oven on the smoker, about 500 degrees on the smoker, as high as it'll go. Put some canola oil in there, just some kind of high heat oil. That's about a quarter of a cup, I think. So I'm going to first start by sauteing a bunch of onions. This is like 4 onions. I'm making a huge batch today. This is going to make like 40 cups of chili. I think this is like a 10-quart Dutch oven or something. It's just massive. So whatever kind of onion you want, just if you're making this much, you can shrink this recipe obviously, but basically a quadruple recipe. So it's going to be like 4 onions, 4 peppers, 4 pounds of ground beef, etc. Next, you're going to go ahead and add your bell peppers. Again, you'll do about 4 bell peppers for this quadruple recipe. I like to do multicolor, but it doesn't really matter. You can do green, new orange, you can do yellow, red, doesn't really matter. Go ahead and get those in there and continue to saute. It is chili, so you gotta add green chilies. I do 1 can, but you know what? If you like it spicier, put 2 or 3 cans in there. There's also pickled jalapenos that make a really good addition here too. You can just kind of make it as spicy as you want. I'm only doing 1 can for this entire recipe, whereas normally I might do 1 can for a smaller recipe, but I'm making this for a group of people and you just never know what their spice tolerance is, so just staying light for now. My wife is an avid gardener and she grows heirloom tomatoes, and sometimes we have too many of them, so these are actually some heirlooms from a previous season that she had frozen. And so what I did is I thawed them out and I pulled all the skins off, and they're just going right in there. They'll break up really nicely. They're going to cook all the way down, and I'm going to just chop them up really nicely here. So these make an absolutely wonderful flavor in the chili. If you can use heirloom tomatoes, something right from the garden, it's going to be way better. The stuff from the store is just not nearly as good, so I'm lucky in that I have access to these kinds of tomatoes. So this is going to be super tasty here. Got a couple more things to add here, just some housekeeping items. You'll do about a quart of beef broth. This is just simple beef bouillon and water. There's some fancier ones out there, but I find that this works really well. I'm also going to add a can of tomato paste. This helps thicken it up a little bit and bring that really, really rich flavor into the chili. Go ahead and get all that in there. You're going to keep mixing. At this point, it's starting to resemble something edible, but we got a long way to go yet. It's time for the beans. I put tons of beans in my chili. That's just the way that I've always liked it. I know, like, technically chili probably doesn't have any beans in it, so if you want to call this a taco soup or whatever you want to call it, that's great. There's 10 cans of beans in this, and so I'd have like 4 or 5 different types. I have kidney beans, black beans, cannelli beans, white northern beans, chili beans, all sorts of kinds of beans. That was only like half of them. I'm going to put another bowl full in. And there are the rest of the beans. So we have 10 cans of beans in this thing of chili. It's a lot of beans, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, starting to look pretty good to me. So at this point, I'm going to put in the chili seasoning. We're doing a 4X recipe, so I'm using 4 packets of this chili seasoning that I just got from Walmart. I'm going to actually put 3 of the packets into the chili here, and I'm going to reserve 1 to mix in with the meat. Maybe someday I'll be cool enough to make up my own chili seasoning mix, but for now, I just like to use these. They're very easy, they're very quick, and I think they taste great. There's no need to overcomplicate this. At this point, we're really just getting it all mixed up and getting ready to smoke it. Once it's all mixed up, we're going to leave the smoker at the 500-degree mark for several hours to get this just boiling all the way through. We want to just start cooking it down, getting some of the moisture out of there and just really starting to meld those flavors together and get those beans the rest of the way cooked. After a couple of hours, it's going to look like this. We're boiling, full rolling boil inside that smoker. We're getting a little bit of that smoke flavor too, but the main purpose of this part so far is just to get it all heated up. Just get it boiling, start cooking the water out, cooking the tomatoes down, cooking the beans down a little bit more, really melding those flavors together. We are now ready to do the meat portion of this. So if you've got one of these cooling racks, you can use it. Also, if your smoker has like an upper rack, this one actually does have an upper rack to it, but I have it taken out. I just thought this was going to work a little bit better. So what I've done ahead of time is I have actually taken 4 pounds of ground beef, and I've mixed in one of those chili seasoning packets. I've also mixed in a little bit of like the Kinder's salt, pepper, garlic, just the blend, standard blend, just to get some extra flavor in there. So I'm gonna just take these. I did them into like 3/4 pound like patties, I guess you could say, just so there's a little bit more surface area. And I'm gonna set them up there on that cooling rack and make sure that they're all sort of within the diameter of the pot there, so all the drippings go into the chili. You want everything going in there as it smokes. At this point, I'm going to drop the smoker down to about 250 degrees, and it'll take 2 or 3 hours from this point for this chili to be completely done. I recommend a meat thermometer for this part, and if you have a wireless one, even better. I've really been enjoying this one. This is the Temp Spike from ThermoPro. It's got 2 probes. I like that they're short, so that you can actually get to the middle of the meat without having like way too much of the thermometer sticking out. I think that makes the readings really inaccurate. So I love that these are like stubby thermometers. So I'm going to get those in there so I can monitor the temperature as we go. We're just under an hour in on this. Once I got the meat in there, you can start to see the meat starting to firm up and starting to get a little color on the outside. Starting to look pretty good, so I'm getting excited and hungry. This is what it looks like at about the 2-hour mark. You can start to see we're getting really good color on that beef. They look delicious. Man, even those alone would just make the best burger you probably ever had. But anyway, they're for the chili, and they're going to be super, super, super tasty. So these are done. This is about 2.5, maybe close to 3 hours. I don't remember exactly, but internal temp is reading about 150 on this. You can actually stop before it gets to the 165, because once you crumble it up and put it in the chili, it'll finish cooking a little bit if you leave it in there for a while. So at this point, I'm ready to take them off and start crumbling. All right, look at how delicious that patty looks. If you use the right kind of beef, this isn't going to be dry at all. It's tender, it's moist, it's smoky, and it's going to be so good. I actually had to take a pause and go put on the insulated gloves under the nitrile gloves. I forgot, and well, actually I didn't forget. I was trying to be tough, and it was way too hot. So anyway, back in here, and I've got the rest of these patties, and I'm going to get them all broken down in there. I like to leave these as big chunks. I actually typically do smaller chunks, but I think I'm going to try doing bigger chunks on this because I think it's going to taste really, really good. As a reminder, this meat has been not only smoking, but dripping into the chili. So all of that good beef fat flavor is actually going to be in the chili. So you got the smokiness of the beef, the fat that's rendered out of there in the chili, the smokiness of the chili. It's all just going to come together to just be this really, really, really good chili. I hope you enjoy it as much as I know that I'm about to. That is all of the beef. So now it's time to just get it all mixed up and leave it in there for just a little bit longer, just to do one final, like getting it all melded together. Stir it up, let it kind of sit, especially if you crumbled up your meat a little bit below 165 degrees. You want to give it a chance to heat up and just make sure that it's safe. Here's sort of a close-up view. Just wanted to show you how absolutely delicious this looks. We're about to make some bowls of this, go down and sit around our campfire. It's October, it's getting chilly, and so we're going to eat chili. And we're going to have some s'mores and enjoy this delicious chili with some friends of ours. I hope you make this recipe, and I hope you share with me how it went. I'd love to hear about it. Bon appetit!